Don't sleep. Remember I said Isaac was not comforted, but was in mourning after his mother's death because he's a mama's boy, until Rebekah came and he was comforted and he was living in his mother's tent. That's how much he loved her. And by the way, you want more proof that he's a mama's boy? You want more proof that he's a mama's boy? You know how old he was when he got married? He was around 40 years old. When his mother died, he was 37 years old. For 37 years, he didn't get married. He remained a mom. He remained a mama's boy. Do you know that? 37 years old, his mom died. Didn't get married. He was 40 when he got married. You with me there? Okay. Now watch. Because I'm going to show you. I want you to see how Rebekah is a Sarah, a daughter of Sarah spiritually, and she's Isaac's Sarah. 67 right here. Then Isaac brought her into his mother's tent, mother Sarah's tent, brought Rebekah. He took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. Thus Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Okay. Ready? Ready? You remember at the time of Abraham, there was a man named Abimelech, king of Gerar. He didn't know that Sarah was Abraham's wife. When he took her, I mentioned it yesterday, God appeared to him in a dream and said, "You're as good as a dead man." Now watch. Brother, remember when you said, "Now I see why you say God meets you where you're at"? Well, here's more proof. When God appeared to him in a dream, 3, God came to Abimelech in a dream of the night and said to him, "Behold, you're a dead man because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is married." Now, Abimelech had not come near her. Now, remember, Isaac isn't born, right? Isaac will come in chapter 21. Now, remember, when Isaac is married to Rebekah, he's 40 years old. So, keep in mind, this event happened over 40 years before Isaac and Rebekah got married, right? Keep that in mind. This is at least 40 years before Isaac got married, okay? I want you to see the Bible, how amazing it is, and how history repeats itself. Past events become pictures of future realities, okay? You're a dead man because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is married. Now, Abimelech had not come near her. Then he said, "Lord, will you kill a nation even though righteous? Did he not himself say to me, 'She's my sister'? And she herself also said, 'He is my brother'? And the integrity of my heart, I didn't know any better. Innocence of my hands, I have done this." Here's the principle. God meets you where you're at and takes your understanding, circumstances into consideration. Here. Then God said to him in the dream, "Indeed, I know that in the integrity of your heart, Venia, you have done this, and I also held you back from sinning against me. Therefore, I did not let you touch her." See the principle right there? See the principle right there? Articulated black and white. I know you didn't know. I know you thought she was not married. I know in your heart you weren't planning to commit sin, and I took that into consideration. Now, however, you know. See when you're accountable? So now return the man's wife, for he's a prophet. He'll pray for you and you will live. But if you do not return her, know that you shall surely die, and all who are yours. Now you're accountable. See the principle? Yeah. We did that yesterday, brother. And then he goes to Abraham, "Why did you hide this from me? Why would you bring this sin upon me? Have God destroy us and kill us in the innocence of our heart? Why did you lie? Why did you say this? Why would you do this to me?" Here's the answer. Abraham said, "Because I said, surely there is no fear of God in this place. They will kill me because of my wife. She's so beautiful, you'll get rid of me to have her. Besides, she actually is my sister, the daughter of my father. She's my half-sister. So I didn't lie, but I didn't tell you the full story. My half-sister, but I should have told you she's my wife. A half a truth, right? In certain circumstances, is still a lie. Okay? In certain circumstances. Because I said, surely there's no fear of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she actually is my sister, daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. She became my wife, and it happened when God caused me to wander, when they, triune God, caused me to wander, my mother's house, that I said to her, this is the loving kindness which you will show me. Everywhere we go, say of me, he is my brother. All right. You want to see? Rebecca is Isaac's Sarah, and Rebecca loves Isaac the way Sarah loves Abraham. Sarah was willing to be ravished, humiliated to save her husband, showing she had more love for her husband than he did for her. You want to see Rebecca being a Sarah to Isaac, a daughter of Sarah spiritually? Watch. Get ready. Genesis 26. Now there was a famine in the land besides the previous famine that occurred in days of Abraham. That's Genesis 12. So Isaac went to Gerar. Notice the same place as Genesis 20. Same place. Gerar. And who is the king? Abimelech. Over 40 years later, history repeats itself. He's again in Gerar, and there's another king with the same name. Another king with the same name. You better believe it, humble boy. Go watch yesterday when I went super in depth on this. History repeats itself. Another Abimelech, because that Abimelech would have died. This is 40 years later. King of the same place. And Yahweh appeared to him, Isaac, and said, do not go down to Egypt. Because in Genesis 12, when there was a famine, Abraham went down to Egypt. Here God says, don't do that. Dwell in the land of which I shall tell you. Sojourn in this land. I will be with you and bless you, for to you and to your seed I will give all these lands. Eventually this land will be yours. I will establish the oath which I swore to your father Abraham. I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven. I'll give your seed all these lands, and by your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because Abraham listened to my voice, kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, my laws. Now watch. Do you want proof Rebecca is a Sarah? You guys want proof Rebecca is a Sarah? Ready? Ready? So Isaac lived in Gerar. Then the men of the place asked about his wife, and he said, she is my sister. Wow. Like father, like son. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh? Hold on. Let me get the cat some food. He too, though he loved her, he didn't love her so much as to be willing to die for her. Notice her love, like Sarah, she loves him to the point she's willing to say, I'm his sister, and she's willing to be ravished, like Sarah was willing to save her husband. See how the proof she's a Sarah? You see that? Sorry, I guess I gotta get water for the cat. See that? You see how history repeats itself? You guys are amazed? Did you guys even know that? That what happened to Abraham happened to Isaac? Same place, different king with the same name. And like his father, he told Rebekah, say you're my sister, because he didn't want to be killed over her. And like Sarah, she was willing to do that to save his life because she loves him. So God blessed Sarah's son with a Sarah. But now watch the difference though. Okay, watch the difference here. Abimelech took Sarah, but watch here. She is my sister, for he was afraid to say my wife, thinking, lest the men of the place kill me on account of Rebekah. Like father, like son, the apple doesn't fall from the tree, huh? Now it happened, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out through a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was caressing his wife, Rebekah. Look, he loved her so much, he couldn't keep his hands off of her, so he was caressing her, touching her, fondling her in a way that lovers do, not brother and sister. How do I know? Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, behold, surely she's your wife. How then did you say she's my sister? Now he's livid. And Isaac said to him, because I said, lest I die on account of her. Now watch. Abimelech said, what is this you've done to us? Sound familiar? Sound familiar? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Like father, like son, but Rebekah, like Sarah, loves Isaac to be willing to cover up for him. God gave him a Sarah. And like at the time of Abraham, Abimelech reacted this way. What have you done to us? You almost got us killed. This Abimelech responds the same way. One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us. Now you see the difference? This king wasn't planning to take her. What he was afraid of is, what if someone came and wanted to marry her and you let that happen? So Abimelech commanded all the people, saying, he who touches this man or his wife shall surely put to death. You know why he reacted that way, right? You know why he reacted that way? Why do you think he was so scared, freaked out, and said, if anyone touches this man's wife, he's going to die? And then he made a covenant with him and gave him his father's wells and told him, go live on over here. It's yours. No one mess with you. You don't mess with us. Stay away. Right? Go away from us. Why do you think he reacted this way? Anyone have an idea? Yeah. He remembers what happened to the previous Abimelech, the king of Gerar. Because you think after that incident, they wouldn't have spoken about it and warned people about this Abraham? Hey, this man's God showed up and he was going to kill me dead and kill you dead. That's why he shut the wombs of my maidservants and wife. They couldn't get pregnant because this man's God is awesome and fearful and no one can stop him. Don't get near him or his wife. And they knew this was his son. Yeah. Yeah. You see how supernaturally rich and deep your Bible is? So Rebekah was his Sarah, a daughter of Sarah spiritually, her daughter-in-law, a Sarah to Isaac. You learned a lot today, guys. You learned a lot. What I want to do is just bring to your attention. I saw Michael Lofton talking about the president, the former president of Catholic Answers, Carl Keating, calling him out on Facebook. And then I went to Carl Keating and shared his post. Michael Lofton blocked him, but Carl Keating is also aware there's some issues with Michael Lofton, because remember, he was working with Catholic Answers and writing for them. And so I saw this, but you got to pay to see it. You think I'm going to pay this guy? I'm done with them. Carl Keating, former head of Catholic Answers, attacks me on Facebook. I'm done with them. Because they're seeing with their eyes, this man is a tool of Satan, a son of Satan. He's destroying the faith of the faithful. He is bringing on liberal critical scholars to attack the faith. Now, you see this video he did 9 days ago? Archaeologists found the bones of Jesus. Fact or fiction? Which Christian let alone Catholic. Which Christian who actually fears Jesus and loves the Lord would even have this as an option? Which Christian would do this? Which Christian? Right? And he's bringing on liberals like here, John J. Collins. He is a liberal who thinks the Bible is full of myths and errors and mistakes, brings him on and others like him. What is happening to this guy? And you got to be a member to go watch this. You don't want to pay to watch him, spew off for 20 minutes. He then did a session, Catholics, talking about the banned books, the list that the Catholic Church of banned books. And then he goes on a tirade in one session I saw where he says today, though it's not illegal to read them, it's a moral obligation not to read them. Because then he says, because the Catholic Church doesn't have the power of the state to then impose this prohibition like they did in the past, where they come and attack your city, village, or attack you. Does this guy sound like a Christian? Members only, huh? Family of Jesus? Can anyone tell me what is he arguing? Because I'm not a member. I wouldn't pay him a penny. He'd have to pay me to even become a member. Even then, I wouldn't use it for membership. I'll go to the buffet. What's happened to this guy? Well, pray for me, brother. God have mercy on me. All right? See that right there? But Catholic Answers, you got to also be careful, brother. Some of them are very liberal. Jimmy Akin Chunhorn, super liberal, have embraced macro revelation, dehistoricized Genesis 1-11, compromise, and they're dangerous in that regard. Do not listen to them about aliens or Genesis and Adam and Eve. They're compromised. They don't represent the church. Take everything else. Stay away from that. All right? If you go to his other channel, and I'll show you what Carl Keating said. I'm going to do Tovia Singer either tonight or tomorrow, Lord willing, and I'll retitle this. I hope you're blessed. Watch here. Here's his other channel, and it's all about Israel, America, Zionism. That's all it is now. And ironically, he now has a post which got the attention of Carl Keating that Israel knew about 9/11 before it happened. Well, I believe that. But then he plays this clip where the Catholic exorcist says that Steven Spielberg's movie may have been devoted to demons, invoking demons to curse those who watch it. Stay away from it. And you should see the smug look, how he looks at it and comments with disdain, as if he's saying, you see what a joke these Catholics are? See that? What happened to this guy? King Deplorables, what happened? What happened to this guy? So I shared Carl Keating's concerns because, remember, Carl Keating started Catholic Answers. Catholic Answers even published a book by Michael Lofton and featured him. And I was saying he's done with them. You're done with them? Here it goes. More from Carl Keating. See? Where? He got blocked by Michael Lofton. What happened to Michael Lofton? See, he's asking. What happened to Michael Lofton? Carl Keating. There you go. I don't know what's happening to people. You see, Shekels Woodstein, rapist Woodstein, adulterous prophet, Faggotius. Michael, I don't know what's happening. But guys, let me just ask you again from my heart. I mean this. When I tell you, I know I'm not better than them, don't take it as if, right, I'm not being serious. and I'm not trying to be humble. If the Lord gets fed up with me because of my struggle sins, he can hand me over and crush me, and no one can stop God. It is the scariest thing for the Lord to turn against you because no one can stop him.